In the 14th century, when the Islamic world was shaken by wars, political rivalries, and social unrest, one man rose above the chaos with a vision that would change the way we understand history and society. His name was Abdul Rahman ibn Muhammad ibn Khaldun, better known as Ibn Khaldun, philosopher, historian, sociologist, jurist, and politician. He is remembered as the author of the timeless Muqaddimah, a masterpiece that introduced the world to the science of history and the foundations of sociology. Today, we uncover the extraordinary journey of Ibn Khaldun, the man who taught us that behind every empire's rise and fall lies the hidden rhythm of human society. Ibn Khaldun was born in 1332 CE in Tunis, North Africa, into a well-respected Andalusian Arab family. His ancestors had once lived in Seville, Spain, but after its fall to Christian forces, the family migrated to Tunisia. From a young age, Ibn Khaldun was immersed in scholarship. He memorized the Quran, studied Arabic grammar, literature, jurisprudence, mathematics, and philosophy. His teachers included some of the most renowned scholars of the Maghreb. Still in his teens, Ibn Khaldun entered public service under the Hafsid rulers of Tunis. But his restless spirit and thirst for knowledge soon drew him away from courtly life, setting him on a journey that would shape his destiny. Ibn Khaldun's life was marked by constant political upheaval. He traveled to Fez in Morocco, where he entered the service of the Marinid rulers, only to be caught in the crossfire of political rivalries. He later moved between Granada, Bougie, and Tlemcen, often serving as a diplomat, judge, or political advisor. Yet each time, envy, intrigue, or shifting alliances forced him into exile or imprisonment. At one point, weary of politics, Ibn Khaldun withdrew to a small village in Algeria called Qalat ibn Salama. There, in the quiet refuge of the countryside, he began writing the book that would secure his immortality, the Muqaddimah. In just 3 years of seclusion, Ibn Khaldun composed the Muqaddimah, the monumental introduction to his universal history. Unlike earlier historians who recorded events without questioning their causes, Ibn Khaldun took a revolutionary approach. He asked, why do civilizations rise and fall? What drives human societies forward, and what leads them to decay? His answers gave birth to an entirely new science, the philosophy of history and sociology. At the heart of Ibn Khaldun's work lies the concept of al-Asabiyyah, or group solidarity. He argued that every civilization begins with strong group feeling, often among tribes or nomads, who unite under hardship and faith. This unity gives them strength to conquer and establish new states. But as generations pass, luxury, comfort, and corruption weaken that solidarity. Civilizations grow soft, and eventually a stronger, fresher group replaces them. In this, Ibn Khaldun saw history not as random events, but as a cycle of rise and fall, a rhythm repeating across human history. Ibn Khaldun's genius went beyond political history. He analyzed how psychological, economic, environmental, and cultural factors shape human behavior. He wrote about how climate influences character, how trade and taxation affect prosperity, how urbanization changes societies, and how education molds future generations. In doing so, he became not only the first sociologist, but also a pioneer in economics, anthropology, and political science. His insights foreshadowed ideas developed centuries later by thinkers like Machiavelli, Montesquieu, and Adam Smith. Eventually, Ibn Khaldun settled in Cairo, where he spent the last 24 years of his life. He gained great respect, serving as a professor at Al-Azhar University and as the chief Maliki judge of Egypt. However, the envy of rivals led to his dismissal from office 5 times. Despite these challenges, his reputation as a scholar only grew stronger. In 1401, at the age of nearly 70, Ibn Khaldun accompanied Sultan Faraj of Egypt on an expedition to meet the famous conqueror Timur, Tamerlane, outside Damascus. The two men held deep conversations about history and power, an encounter between two titans of their age. Ibn Khaldun returned to Cairo, where he died in 1406 CE, leaving behind a legacy that would echo for centuries. While Ibn Khaldun is best remembered for the Muqaddimah, it was actually the introduction to his larger work, the Kitab al-Ibar, a universal history covering Arabs, Persians, Greeks, Romans, Berbers, and even European rulers of his time. His final volume, al-Tasrif, was autobiographical, written with the same scientific and analytical spirit that marked his history. It is considered one of the earliest examples of an intellectual autobiography. Though a book on mathematics he wrote has been lost, his influence across fields remains unmatched. Ibn Khaldun's ideas spread far beyond the Islamic world. Translations of the Muqaddimah reached Europe, where scholars marveled at its depth. Modern thinkers regard him as the father of sociology, the founder of the philosophy of history, a pioneer in political science and economics. Some even argue that his Muqaddimah surpasses Machiavelli's The Prince, written a century later because it relies not on speculation, but on careful cultural, social, and economic analysis. Today, his theories continue to inspire researchers studying civilizations, economics, and social change. Ibn Khaldun was more than a historian. He was a visionary who sought patterns in the chaos of human history. His Muqaddimah was not just a record of the past, but a guide to understanding the forces that shape societies. From the deserts of North Africa to the lecture halls of modern universities, his voice still speaks, reminding us that civilizations are fragile, that unity is strength, and that the story of mankind is written not only by kings and generals, but by the deeper currents of human society. Ibn Khaldun, the father of sociology, the philosopher of history, and one of the greatest